What's a fact about you that sounds completely unbelievable? I have seen my own intestine. Since somebody asked. Semi-truck blew a red light as I was pulling out of the hospital I worked at. The ED crew ran out, shoveled me off the asphalt, and ran me inside. If it had been anywhere else, I'd have bled out before an ambulance arrived. It broke my left everything, including 10 ribs, many of which wound up in my lung, one of which is still unaccounted for. I was fortunate enough not to suffer any spinal damage, but I did lose my left leg below the knee. I've made a mostly full recovery, less the leg and significant lung functionality. If you think about how a grape splits open when you squeeze it too hard, you'll have the right idea. A Victoria's Secret model married me. I wrote a song that was played on the radio for years. I won a college bowl game. All of the above is true, but not nearly as impressive as it sounds. She was a catalog model, not the runway type. We were young. She was pretty damn amazing. I was 12 and got a keyboard for Christmas. I called the Friday night request DJ in my podunk town and told him I wrote him a song. He recorded it and opened his show with it for years because it was so campy. It was a community college bowl game. Chevy Chase was drunk driving up my street, crashed into my house, and completely ran over and destroyed my mailbox. After a conversation with his wife, who was extremely nice and apologetic, I walked up the street to meet Chevy personally, and he gave me a $750 check to pay for a new mailbox that in reality cost about $14 to replace. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II almost ran me over driving a battered Land Rover of Lord Lichfield's estate in Staffordshire. I have 3 wisdom teeth and no appendix. Apparently my body just forgot to grow them. I have somehow survived so many respiratory illnesses, including a collapsed lung, and shit that I should 100% be dead. Somehow, my ass keeps living. Was my dad's 30th birthday gift. Born the same day, exactly 30 years apart. I went from homeless drug addict to a director position at a tech company in a span of 15 years. I died once. I have never been inside a McDonald's, Burger King or a Wendy's in my life, and I'm 24 and I live in the USA. I am an albino Mexican fraternal twin. I have no sense of orientation at all. Every single time I cross the street or follow a road in any direction, take a turn, I get lost. Every street is completely new to me every time. Even though I lived in the same city for 36 years, I get lost at least 2 or 3 times a day. My mother had the same. She always had to use a compass and a map and ask directions every turn. I have Google Maps, haha. Luckily for me, I was born with a birth defect and had 1 point a year. So technically I'm a half-elf. I've been shot twice by the same guy, 10 years apart. Been robbed at gunpoint by police in Mexico. Stabbed, tear-gassed. And I once partied with Anthony Kiedis. I won a silver medal in archery at an affiliated offshoot of the Olympics. I was born without tonsils or an appendix. Not me, but my dad got hit by a truck, then a car, all on his way to school. He still went. When he told his gym teacher he couldn't run because he got hit by a truck and a car, the gym teacher gave him shit. I had sex before I discovered what masturbation was. Horse fell on top of me and I broke 0 bones, and then rode that horse home. One of my toenails grows diagonally. I have no idea why, how, or when it started. I disarmed a group of hardcore German neo-Nazis with nothing but friendliness. The keel of my own fan surfboard stabbed my thigh after a big wave. If it had hit any other part, I'd probably have serious problems or death if it had hit my torso or head. 13 years old. 13 stitches. I had 2 international, 1 national and 1 state-level award in 2 different fields before I turned 18. And I have too many mad stories. I tend to avoid telling half of them because they're pretty ridiculous. I have morphea scleroderma, an autoimmune thing which made my immune system attack my skin pigments and discolored a patch of me lol. I grew up in Scotland, and because it was so rare I was dragged around to hospitals for dermatology specialists to prod at me for years. I've seen 4 different people stabbed on separate occasions. Seen my dad stabbed 3 times. Lol. Saw a dude after he'd been attacked with a hatchet and a claw hammer. Guy survived but barely. Had huge braces over him for months after. Been in a house fire. Well, apartment fire. Had to jump out a 2nd floor window as a 9-year-old. Been in 3 car crashes. One of which I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Was thrown to a window as the car span out and we hit a tree which came through the back window, where I was sitting and stuck in the back of my dad's headrest. If I had been wearing my seatbelt, there's a good chance my head would have been minced. Went to watch a football game when I was 15 and ended up in a full-scale riot consisting of 150,000 angry, drunken, Scottish football fans. Here, https u2.be/ena4gkvvhcq is a link to some footage. Crazy day. And the list genuinely goes on. The late Brian Christopher, Grandmaster Sexy, punched me square in the left eye in the ring at a Legends Wrestling event in 2002. I had to stand in as a referee at the last minute and I had no fucking clue what I was doing. Apparently I was looking the wrong way and he didn't like that. So I got hit. I have never seen a Star Wars movie. Have no concept of how or what it is all about, but just know that this is somehow a popular movie. I lit a cigarette in the winds of Hurricane Katrina. Several cigarettes. Actually, I was at the hospital with my dad because he wasn't well enough to evacuate and, well, you can't smoke inside of the hospital. Lol. Throughout my life, I have been the youngest child, the middle child, the oldest child and an only child. Out of my siblings, I have been shot through the face and spine from 10 inches away with a 9mm and have no lasting issues from it. Only an entrance and exit wound on my cheek and neck. I battle drug addiction, gambling addiction, extreme debt, income ratios. Been married, divorced, very shortly, still getting finalized. Have 2 beautiful girls, 5 and 3 months. I weighed 102 kilograms at my heaviest, down to 69 kilograms in 3 months via not particularly healthy diet change. Owned 40 plus different cars. Been a retail store to IC, a bar manager, a small business owner. Currently working as a shot firer, mining explosives operator. Currently writing a course to train people to do said job. And a work of fiction hoping to be published. Probably missed a few bits and pieces. Only 27 years old. I found out randomly I'm Bob Marley's third, I think, cousin. I fell 13 meters in a stunt show. Stood up and finished the show without a broken bone. Edit. It was the Wild West stunt show in Disney Paris. Floor was sand over concrete. I almost got killed by a bear.